Making Sense of Jesus, Episode 3. God in Three Persons. In the first presentation, we insisted that if there is a God, then he must be good. And in the second presentation, we said that if there is a good God, then he must be something other than an absolute and single being, but must be a community, a trinity of persons who are the one God who is good. This is what Christianity insists. The God is not an absolute one, but is three divine persons who are one, preserving their distinction while remaining only one God. Is this difficult to imagine? It certainly is, and it makes little sense that Christians at the beginning would have created such a complicated idea, which is beyond our human comprehension. It is the experience of this good God who is three and one which has been revealed to us by God himself, and which requires us to insist upon it as a truth. An isolated God cannot be good in essence, and there cannot be many gods. But the God who is three and one is both truly good and truly God. This is what mankind has discovered in the history of God revealing himself to us. The Jews were beginning to understand this more clearly until it was made explicit in the teaching of Jesus. One of the psalms or songs written by King David says of God, "He sends out his word, he causes his spirit to blow." These are the names we give to the persons of God, of the Holy Trinity. They are the Father, the Word, and the Spirit. These are not words that completely describe who these incomprehensible divine identities are, but they allow us as fallible and frail human persons to speak of the three divine identities as being united and being one, whilst also being distinct. The Father has the sense of being the source and the origin of the Holy Trinity, not in time, since time does not exist for God, but according to our human understanding. The Word is the expression of the Father. Our own words express who we are, and the Word of God expresses the Father, so that the Word is the same in being the one God, but distinct in being an identity that is not the same as the Father. The Spirit is the activity of the Father, so that he completes the will of the Father. The Spirit is also a person, distinct, and not the same as the Father or the Word, but also the same in being the one God. How can we understand these things? It is just the same as a blind person trying to understand what color means. It is beyond us, because we cannot know God as he is known to himself. Yet we can say things about God that are true, and which are part of his revelation of himself to mankind. There is one God, and this one good God who is love is three distinct identities or persons who are one. The sun is an immense body of heat and nuclear reaction, but the sun is also the light by which we see and the warmth which preserves every person on earth. There is no sun without heat or light, but the heat and the light are not exactly the same as the nuclear furnace around which we orbit. This is a poor comparison, but it says a little about how God is one and three at the same time. It is this truth that God is one and three, and that these three are distinct identities or persons, which allows us to begin to understand who Jesus is in relation to God.